Okay, I'm teeing up the Troy Community Land Bank Finance Committee meeting of April 27th, 2021, starting at 8:30 a.m. Okay. So, Albert, do you want to share this, or would you like me to facilitate it?
My way through all this stuff. I do have I was looking at your operating statement for the end of March.
Mhm.
Did you have some cash flow issues in March?
Oh yeah, that's why we needed that loan.
It seems like you guys are like asset rich and cash poor.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
essentially what's going on is we're pouring money into projects that we don't see proceeds until those are done and they're sold. So we've got 4 projects going on: 11 Winnie Avenue, which is getting very close to completion; 54 Fifth Avenue, which is about 50% done, I'd say; 3229 Sixth Avenue, which is not a rehab, it's just a stabilization. That's probably about 75% complete; and 791 River Street, which is an adventure all its own. We're still trying to sort that out.
So where have you been? So mostly you've been getting money from grants?
Most of it's come from enterprise community funding, yeah.
Okay.
And one of the major reasons why we had a cash flow problem was when I submitted my last quarterly report. Usually when we get the disbursement, part of it is for expenses that the grant couldn't cover for the quarter I'm reporting for, and the other part of the disbursement is for projected expenses for the upcoming quarter. This time around, enterprise community for the first time said, basically, because you're having cash flow problems, we're only going to front you enough money for the expenses you have in hand that have not been paid. So unpaid vouchers that we had at the beginning of January. So that
Did they cover your salary?
No. Well, we've gotten 2 PPP loans, so that's definitely helped. There is a portion of it. There is a portion of AEC funds that covers my salary. So, but it's not all of it. I should probably sit down with you and go over the EC budget so you know what that's about.
Who does these reports that you gave me last week?
Which one in particular?
The profit and loss, the comparison, the balance sheet comparison.
Oh, those are done by Bowers and Company, our accountant.
Can they do a aging report for the payables and the receivables?
Did you say an aging report?
Yeah, aging report. Yeah.
Aging or Attorney General?
Aging, yeah, like an accounts payable aging report and an accounts receivable aging report.
I actually don't know if they do that. That's the first I've heard the term.
Can you ask me? Can you ask me if they can get that for you?
Sure. Okay. So,
I also noticed you pay your attorney quite a bit.
yeah, 8,000
a
was
lot
her.
of work for you.
Yeah, she does. The month of March is our most expensive month by far.
Really?
So her bill was the highest it's been in this past March, because you really in addition to doing just general legal services, she also did 90% of the Paris report, which is I don't know if you remember when we met, but that's the report that's required of all public authorities. And it's a
Right.
very laborious, detailed report. And that's the
Okay,
one that I
cumbersome.
mentioned to you that you just get a pass fail. So if you're missing one little piece of it, and there's another public authority that hasn't even filed anything, you're on the same list, identified the same way as those folks. So we've done, years ago, we had problems getting that filed correctly. The past several years, we've done a very solid job getting that filed on time, filed completely. And that's due to Kate.
Okay, so I guess how do you run these meetings?
Well, that's what I was asking. Usually the chair runs the meeting, but since this is your first time, if you'd like me to facilitate it, I can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So recognizing Albert Watson as chair, present, John Cubitt and John Carmelo present, Tony Tazi present. No one else in attendance or joining in the meeting. And I'm going to call the meeting to order at, I'm going to call it, since we started a few minutes ago, I'm going to call it 8:32 with a quorum assembled. And let me, let's see, try to share the agenda. Okay, so that's our agenda. What I sent out yesterday, I'm not sure if you all got it. But one file was a projected cash flow report. And did anyone get that?
Yeah, I got them all. You have the cash flow, the financials, right? And then some specific property stuff, right?
Yeah. So what the cash flow shows is if we sell 11 Winnie Avenue, what's going on with this? If we sell 11 Winnie Avenue in this quarter, which is going to be a 50-50 proposition, then our cash flow we should be in much better shape with cash flow this quarter than we were last quarter.
That's 170,000. That's the projected Winnie, or?
Yeah, that's the projected. That was the price that actually Heather gave me a conservative informal appraisal for all our properties after renovation. So we'll have to see what our new real estate broker thinks it's worth before it goes to market. The status of that project is there's a $12,500 change order, and it's the very last bit of work, and it's for stabilization of the back foundation wall, which they didn't discover the problem with the back wall until the rear porch was removed, and it took a while for Reeves Engineering to get the information to the city so that Johnny Bobo could get to work on it. I was on site last week and Johnny was already hard at work on it. So let me, I'm trying to, I think I need 4 screens today. See if I can find.
Tony, if we don't sell that property, are we gonna be in a spot like we were in March?
Yes. Well, what would you say if we don't sell the property? If we don't sell it this quarter, we're not going to be in quite the same. We shouldn't be in the same predicament because my quarterly report that's into Tanya right now, and we're negotiating the amount, we should come out with a much healthier disbursement this time around. I think she got the message that we need funding if she wants us to get our projects to move forward.
Yeah, okay.
So of course, these are all cash flow projections, but we'll see how things actually turn out. For 54 Fifth Avenue, I don't think that's going to be completed until third quarter this year, the way Seat's moving on it. And it's not, it's more the way Russ Reeves is moving on it. So he's been very, very slow getting work that's needed into City Hall. He's been slow getting that in. I've talked to Chazen Engineering last week to see if they'd be interested in kind of coming in to back up Russ Reeves if he's not getting the job done. So I need to talk to Russ about that, and I'm planning on doing that next week after the city disposition list is submitted.
Just been busy, or?
Yeah, you know, usually it's March Madness, and March wasn't quite as bad this year. But it kind of spilled into April because of the city property disposition list coming out. That's kept me really busy this month. And then, you know, there's the quarterly report to get done. And
I met Russ.
oh, Russ, you know, Russ is, I think what happens with him is I think he really intends well. He makes promises that he intends to keep, but I think he just gets so busy, he just can't keep up with things.
Yeah.
And I've had a couple conversations with him, and it usually results in, yeah, I'm going to get that done for you next week now that we've had the conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens, most times it doesn't. So he's a great engineer, but you know, when it takes him 3 times longer than it takes the contractors to do the work, then there's a problem. So so my solution to the problem is to have a backup engineer. If he can't get it done, then there's somebody that can take the ball and run with it. So, and again, that's a conversation I need to have with him, and I plan to have that next week after the list is into the city. So that's what we're looking at for. Let's see, where's my, I really do need more screens than I have. Okay, let's see. For some reason. Okay. So that's off. So that next thing on the agenda is, well, I should say, I skipped over the meeting minutes. The meeting minutes have not been prepared by SEAT. So I'll have to catch up with them as well to get those prepared. The person that does those SEAT's going into a particularly busy period of time, and actually the minutes should have been done, but the person that does them right now is tied up with her busy time of the year. Let's see, I also sent out individual budgets for each of the projects. And since you guys can't mostly, well, John Carmelo can read them, but. So for Johnny Bobo, he's got a couple invoices that are not quite right. So he and I have to sort a couple of things out, but it looks like the balance of work after the change order is approved and the work is done, the balance for the project should be $11,600. The change order is for $12,500, but there's a $900 credit that he owes us. And then that project should be done by mid-May. And that's why I think it should be marketed and, well, it'll be marketed and probably sold by the end of the quarter. Whether it closes the end of the quarter or not would be the tricky part. And let's see, what else we got? 54 Fifth Avenue, which is the SEAT project. We have, maybe a little bit here. Right now, it looks like we have a project balance of expenses of $80,253. Most of that is EC funding. So 18,000 of it is the heating system that has to be installed, and that's not funded by EC. But most of the rest of it is. And the value on that building is also 170,000. And let's see, 3229. Okay. 3229, the balance is $65,000. There are outstanding invoices that I keep asking Johnny Bobo to get to me that he has not. So I'm not sure what that balance actually really is. So EC funding is paying for 57.5% of the project. So that's a stabilization. Once that's completed, then that'll be put on the market. That will probably be completed, I would guesstimate, in June. And 791, at tomorrow's board meeting, in case you haven't already received it, it went out yesterday afternoon. There's a resolution and an agreement between the land bank and SEAT for SEAT to take on the bulk of the work that's needed to remediate the problems at 791. So that seems to be the way we're going to go forward with 791. So, do you guys have any questions before I go on to the next item?
All right now.
Okay,
Yeah, I got one.
far away.
Do you actually have any, do you have any properties on the market right now?
No,
No? Okay.
no. We've got a lot of vacant, well, I actually, we should continue to talk, Albert, because we have several vacant parcels that are being land banked for two purposes. One is a Troy housing initiative that will be really good for the North Central neighborhood. And another is a collaboration between RPI, Habitat, TAP, and the land bank that I should kind of explain to you. So most of our vacant parcels are, they could be marketed if they weren't land banked, but they're basically put on hold for projects that we hope to see happen in the near future. So the big deal this month is the city has released their property disposition list. They released it April 1st. It's due on Friday at 4 o'clock. And this is the first list that they have released since I think September of 2019. So there's quite a bit of property on it, and there are some good properties. I actually started a list that I showed to Acquisition and Disposition Committee that they said they were okay with. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, I don't know. So I have a proposed amended list for the board to look at tomorrow. And I'm not sure how everyone's going to want to go with it. And I'm also not sure how the city is going to go with it. The last time we did this, we submitted a list to the city. It was a balance, it was a combination of good properties and not so good properties that, along with the enterprise community funding, looked financially like it was going to put us in a good position. We ran into a number of change orders, and we also ran into COVID, which slowed things down. So things, it's one of the reasons why things haven't hit the market sooner than now. But I'm trying to get some insight into how we're going to take on a list of properties from the city that will make things financially viable for us. And I'm not sure what the answer is. So the way I have the list set up, either list you look at, the intent is to try to kind of balance out taking in properties of value from the city and properties that are not so valuable. And the programming for the properties, I think, would have to be a mix of simply doing minimal work or maybe no work and selling those properties at a profit. Getting involved in doing some renovations and hopefully turning those into a profit or a slight loss that would be offset by the properties that we achieve profits on. There aren't any properties that require any kind of major stabilization, at least not from what I can see. There was one property on the original list that I had on the list because it's on River Street in North Central, but it's a pure demo, and we don't have any grant funds that we know of right now. So that's one of the properties that I'm suggesting comes off the list. I should mention that this is not on the agenda, but there are a number of bills going through the federal level and the state that may provide some pretty good funding for land banks. And it's kind of a potpourri of different bills. Nothing's crossed the finish line, and it will all probably be packaged with the infrastructure bill on the federal level. But there's definitely promise there. If the funding comes through, then there will be funding for land banks. If not, I think we're going to be in a position of having to kind of do the doggy paddle until we get to another place in time. And kind of looking forward financially, another place in time would also be if the Troy Housing project goes forward and Beacon Communities, who's working on behalf of Troy Housing, Albert, if they acquire the properties that we have funding from Enterprise to acquire, then what those monies that we receive basically are it's pure profit for us. So if that goes forward, we'll be in really good shape. The question is whether Troy Housing and Beacon Communities moves forward with it in time. So
I guess,
that's
how does the process work? Do you buy properties from the city of Troy, or how does it work? Like, what's the process? And when you get a property, do you have somebody go out and take a look, like an engineer go out and take a look at it, see what kind of condition it's in?
the last time we did this, we did do that. We did a very, very good evaluation of the properties. This time around, I have been in and out of all the buildings, and that's one of the reasons why so when I came out with the first list, I really didn't have a whole lot of information of the properties, but I have been inside almost every single building. And that's given me a lot more insight to, well, this building that I thought was really good looks like it may have a problem, so maybe we should steer away from that. There's another, what's that? Gary, you're breaking up a little bit.
Want, or you pick and choose what you want from? Okay, must have
Well,
a connection problem. So
Yeah,
you pick and choose what you want.
well, we submit a list to the city of what we would like, and usually there's a discussion. Last time around, the city was pretty friendly, I thought, with us. And the bottom line is, we need to submit the list and then have that conversation.
Okay.
So, yeah, another conversation that
The
I
loan you
really,
took out,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Albert.
the loan you took out last month, you were talking about at the board meeting. What property was that?
That was,
Secured by?
yeah, that was an equity loan from 11 Winnie.
11. Okay. All right.
So another thing I
Okay.
think we need to do financially, and this will probably be part of the conversation with the city after we submit our list and they take a look at it and and come back to talk to us. Pardon me. The city is, the city is receiving something like $47 million that they were not anticipating. I know Schenectady is providing their land bank with operating funds, not all operating funds that they need, but it definitely is funding that helps Schenectady Land Bank. So I think it would be, if there was ever a time for us to sit down with the city to say, the city's in a position to help us financially, and we're in a position where we need the help, I think this would be the year. So I'd like to have that conversation as we talk to them about whatever list we end up submitting to them.
Good idea. I know they got a lot of extra money, Tony, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they have no idea what they're gonna do with the money anyway, right?
I have a feeling they've got thoughts that they're not sharing with the public yet, but they have to, they must be thinking about it. And I think the funds come to them in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So.
I got an email about them. Some panel they want to make up some panel to get ideas on what to do with the money. I got an email a couple weeks ago about that.
It'd be nice if we got a board member on that committee. I'll have to check into that. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
I know I heard the mayor say that, he didn't want to use it for continuing operating funds, but more as one-time economic development stimulus funds. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not gonna be recurring, but that doesn't mean they can't help us out for a couple of years. And I think it's required that they have a committee, and because we're getting some money too as a school district, so we're required to get community input and try to put a committee together. So my guess is they're required to do that too.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see where that would be a requirement.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the requirement is to listen to the committee. So you just never know.
You have to get input. You don't have to abide by it.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about my former life. Committees would usually come out with a recommendation, and the exact opposite would be what happened. So that's what I have on the agenda for you guys. I know, Albert, you're still getting your feet on the ground, so I think I probably have given you more information to confuse you than to help clarify, so I apologize for that. But yeah, I think maybe if we spend more time helping you understand kind of what's forecast down the road for us, that might be helpful. So Albert, you look frozen. Yeah,
I'll
you're-
take a look at the.
You're kind of cutting
Just
in and out.
froze. I know, yeah, you are, yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what I have on the agenda. You guys want to discuss anything?
No, I'm good. Are we, we're 8:30 in the morning tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, we might get into a long, we could get into a long conversation about the list that we need to submit to the city. But if we don't, it should be a pretty short meeting. It's, the only action required is on that change order and
Okay.
on the seat agreement for 791 River Street. So. Okay, so
All right,
you want to throw a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay.
Second.
second. Hey, John, do you live in Colony?
I live
I
in
mean,
Latham.
Latham? Do you live in
Yeah,
Latham?
Latham, yeah, right off exit
Over
5.
on, I could have sworn I saw you Sunday walking a dog.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
live
yeah.
up Doorstone Drive?
Yeah, right off
I
Doorstone,
thought
yeah.
that was you, man. It's like, oh, okay. I thought that was you.
Where do
I was
you
like,
live?
wow, that looks like John.
You live over there?
No, I live I used to have a friend that lived over there. I live down by Mangoyne, Red Front.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I live right in that development.
know,
Limerick Court.
Oh, okay. I thought that was you, man. I was like, that looks like John. Yeah, I saw you walking the dog. It's like, saw you walking the dog, yeah.
Yeah. You playing at all?
Nah, did you hear about Andy? Like he's not gonna be the commissioner anymore.
Yeah, I saw that email. Yeah.
Yeah, he's moving to South Carolina or something, but no, I haven't been playing. I just got my second shot Easter Sunday, so yeah, I wasn't gonna play until after the 2 weeks after I got the second
Yeah,
shot.
it's a
So,
good idea.
but
Hopefully we'll see everybody
Yeah,
back out on the floor at some point.
no, yeah,
I miss it.
yeah, no. You've been playing? I
We
know,
just,
yeah, I really do.
we just started a league over at Bishop McGinn, but it's like young kids, man. It's tough.
I
Playing
know,
against,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Sign
You
me,
can't
sign
keep
me up
up
and
with
I'll slow
them.
you down.
No, that's a whole different game. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
different, man. Can't even get a shot off.
I know, yeah. Hopefully, I try to play by the end of the month.
Yeah.
See what's. I got a call from Rick.
Yeah, they play in the morning.
I think
it's
he's.
just too early for me. They play over here.
Yeah, no.
They play I think at the CYO or something.
Oh, they do?
I think so. They play somewhere in Troy. He called me one time, but man, they play so early. I don't know.
Yeah.
Tough before. I'd rather have like an evening or something, but
Yeah. Maybe I'll give him a call and talk to. All right.
all right.
All right,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
See you guys tomorrow
Thank you.
morning. Yep. Have a good. Yep.
Have a good day.
Bye.